Hey everyone, it's Imani. I'm dropping in real quick to tell you that this episode has been broken into 2 parts. We were really getting into it and having fun, so it ended up being a little lengthy. I mentioned the giveaway in this episode, but not this part, so listen to me closely. For the giveaway, if you comment on this episode on YouTube, as well as the other things I mentioned in this episode, you have the chance to win $60. But since this episode has been broken up into a 2-parter instead of just one, make sure you comment on part 2 and you can enter to win $80 instead of $60. Oh, and one more thing, make sure you subscribe and share these episodes so we can get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get into the show. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Quality Cup Life podcast. My name is Imani, and here we talk about basic skills for young adults in the topic of financial literacy, physical and emotional well-being, and understanding relationships. In this episode is a special one. It falls under the category of understanding relationships. And today I just wanted to see where, from a group of peers, where are we as far as dating in 2023? What is it like? What do people think? What's going on? So that's what this episode is about today. But before we get started, I am doing another giveaway. It's gonna be $60 again. And so all you have to do is comment on this episode, be a subscriber on YouTube, follow me on Insta, leave a review. That's 4 things, but you only need to do 3 of those things. And once you do 3 of those things, just submit the screenshots. Just DM them on Instagram. It's Quality Cup Life everywhere. You can find it almost pretty much everywhere. And then also, if you didn't know, I am a photographer and a videographer, and I'm looking for new clients. And so if you have a small business, or if you want any personal photos or videos in, I will insert something here for you, and it'll also be in the description. I appreciate y'all. Also, one more thing before we get started. We have themes for the next 3 months. This month is relationship month. And then we have themes for the next 3 months. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't remember all of them because there's a lot going on right now. But they will be in the description, the YouTube description, in the podcast description. So if you are interested in being on for one of these topics, hit me up. There's going to be the link will be in the description, and then the first link in the link will be the join the podcast link. So I appreciate y'all. All right, let's get started. Okay, y'all, we have special guests today. Can y'all introduce yourselves?
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Isaac. I'm a technical engineer, pretty much, computer tech, also a singer-songwriter, and I'm 27.
Oh, my bad, I forgot. You said your name, what you did for a living, and then also longest relationship.
Oh, okay. Well, I said everything else. Longest relationship, to be honest, I don't think I would have been in like a real one. So we'll say 0. Not like a real one. So I'll say 0 for that.
All right. And
0 months, 0 years.
My name is Kira. I am 28 years old. I'm a speech language pathologist, and my longest relationship was 6, almost 7 years.
All right, next.
What's up, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Let me start. My name is Austin. I'm from Columbus, South Carolina. I work at Whole Foods. I'm assistant team leader. I'm working on being a team leader as soon as I get that dude out the door. But yeah, and my longest relationship is, I would say, 3 years.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool, very cool. And my name is Imani. Obviously, hello. What do I do for a living? My 9 to 5 is, what is it? Marketing communications assistant. But when I'm not there, I'm a podcast host, and also I'm a photographer and a videographer. So, and my longest relationship is the current one, and it's 5.5 years. So, so yeah, so longer than sometimes I realize it is. But all right.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. So the next thing I wanted to ask you guys is, what is your favorite or preferred way of meeting potential dates? Are y'all like, we gonna hit this Tinder, we gonna hit this what's the other ones? Bumble, y'all in person? What do y'all like?
I'll start it off. So for me, I'm more like a natural, like I like to meet people the natural way. So whether I'm out with friends or like on the job or just meeting people in a natural environment and going from there. I'm not really into like the apps like that. I never really got into it. So I'd rather it be, hey, how are you? What's your name? And then we go from there, face to face.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, because I am so busy, I do prefer, well, I don't mind meeting people in apps, meeting people through people, meeting people when I'm out and about. As of lately, apps and like Facebook dating have been the ways I've been like meeting new people lately. But I don't mind meeting people authentically as well. Honestly, the goal is marriage to like a quality person. So however I meet them, I'm okay with that.
So did Facebook actually like do a dating app?
Does it work?
Is that real?
They do.
That's real?
It is. It's real. I was scared. I was very scared at first. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I didn't know that was a real thing. Facebook got everything. I should have known.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Austin.
Well, I'm with my man Isaac up there because it's a natural way. I feel like that's the best way to meet somebody because you get to see them, kind of like catch them off guard as them being themselves versus like meeting oh, let's meet up, let's do this or link it up on the app. But now I have tried a dating app. I've tried Tinder. I've tried an app called Black, where it's just strictly black people, quote unquote. But I mean, it's that's cool, but it's like you don't really get a feel for what the person is because it's like, oh, it's just messaging. So you can't really express or feel what somebody's thinking or how they are, or you can't just like see their expression just to gauge like where the relationship is going, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that. I have never been on a dating app. Oh, Kira, did you want to say something?
Oh no! I was doing this. Sorry.
It's okay. I've actually never done it. I don't think I've ever been interested. I guess the time that I could have, I wasn't interested because I was like, I gotta pass these classes. I'm not interested in none of the tomfoolery men beyond. I don't have time. I need to focus. That's what my mind was at the time. I was like, I don't. And then, I guess I watched a little bit too much of what's the thing, To Catch a Predator back in the day? What's my man's name?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
I forget, it's something Hansen. Chris Hansen, that's his name. That's what but I guess if I wasn't dating somebody right now, I guess I would probably do it. But I think I would prefer like the in-person, let me get a feel for you type thing. But the dating online thing is cool too, because you have like a much bigger pool to like dip in. I don't know, to dip in, I guess.
And everyone's looking for kind of the same thing on a dating app. Well, not everyone, but you get a general feel of like, okay, I want to meet someone. That's what the general feel is. I want to meet someone. So I get it on that. I just never tried it myself. I would try it. I just haven't yet. So
yeah. So yeah, that's interesting that depending on, I guess, like your lifestyle, if you're busy or whatever, that determines, and maybe a personality that determines how you like to, or how you the way you feel most comfortable meeting people. So that's really neat. I did not know. So the next thing I want to ask you guys is, what's the most memorable date you've ever been on? Or it could be something that you thought it was a date, but you found out later, I was like, this ain't really a date like I thought it was. Whatever. However, I would love to hear like whether that's a negative or a positive experience. I would love to hear that.
Okay, I guess I'll start again. For me, I haven't really had any like horrible dates on my end. Most of the time, it's been a cool experience. I would say because most of my dates, I'm usually taking people out to like some type of activity. I'm like a competitive person, so I like to see what the vibe is if they're into that too. Because for me, like playing video games, playing outside, playing sports, that's what I like to do. And if a person is into something like that, then I feel like we're a little compatible. Not even if it's like just game, just a person who likes to be out and do things. So for me, I would say a memorable date. I mean, I guess I don't want to say this because this part might be might sound a little funny, but one really memorable date was I took a girl out. We went to like a Dave and Buster's type of place down here. We had fun. We played games. She was dope. The one thing I remember is when she got out my car to go back home, it was like dirt all on my carpet.
Oh.
But it was from the sneakers. You know, in my head, I was like, I gotta clean this. But she was a dope girl. Dope woman. So I can't complain. But
you was like, dang, I gotta clean this car out though.
Yeah, I was like, keep my vacuum.
I feel that. Okay. Kira, what you got?
For me, the most memorable date, it wasn't even anything fancy. Because we went to a bowling alley. But this was the first date that I actually went on when I first started really genuinely dating. And the guy took me out, but when we were sitting at our lane, another lady kept making like these vulgar jokes. I don't want to say them on the podcast, so I'm not going to say them, but she was making them towards him, and he didn't flinch at them. He wasn't joking back with her, and he actually like did things that I guess put his attention on me and let like the lady know that he was with me, like touching my leg or putting his arm around me, or like maybe laughing because he was still kind to the lady, but like directing it back to me. And I think that was the very first time that I realized, I'm like, wow, there are men out here who don't entertain other women. When I'm here, there's a guy out there that will respect me. Like, I deserve this. And that was the very first date that I don't know, that was the one that stuck out to me. That's the one that really just meant a lot to me. And we didn't work out because we just weren't compatible. He's still a good person. Like, I don't feel like I did anything awful to him, but like, that was a good date because it just opened my eyes to see like, wow, there are really, really dope men out here who really are kind to me and who really respect me as a woman.
That's cool. I like it.
Thank you.
A memorable date for me. It's actually the date. Well, not a date, but it's my current girlfriend who I'm with now. She we went. Where would we go? We went to I was just trying to find something random, something unique, something that I never done before, and something that she possibly never done before. And she likes animals, so I took her to where we go. We went to it's a place in Aiken somewhere. This far out, but it's actually like a drive-in, like drive-through animal, like feed the animals and stuff like that. And I took my car, and everybody knows me that I love my car. I modding and all kinds of stuff. So I took her in my car. We drive up to the little gate. We got to purchase the food for the animals, all this yada yada blah this stuff. So we drive further down, and it's like you just start driving. You don't see the animals at first, but
was this during the pandemic?
What? No, it was a little it was recently. Actually, it was recently, like last year. So no, not really at all. But it was dead though. It was dead.
Okay, because I remember during the pandemic, everybody had their videos on Facebook, taking their kids through the little drive-through thing, putting the kids had their hands out the windows with the pet feed.
Yeah,
so I was just wondering if you was one of those cars, but okay, I got you.
Well, I was one of those cars that I got messed up on. I don't know, those animals off the chain. It was a goat, and we were driving, and and like we're feeding the goat, so the goat sticks his head in the window, just like all that licking and all that stuff, and it's weird at first, so it's like what the world? So it's scary. So we was driving. And then fed the goat. Okay, we start winding the wood up, drive off a little bit, and the goat just takes off with the car, just do, and gets in front of the car. It's like, yo, you finna feed me, you know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. So then he pulls to the side, and you try to pull off again, and he does the same thing. And it's like, I don't know, that just was funny. It was like something unique because I'll always remember that, you know, and I'm pretty sure she would, because you know that's a crazy experience for a goat to be like, you gonna feed me, I need my food. That just it blew my mind.
That is crazy. Yeah, animals don't have no chill. They like, hey, where the food at?
Free food.
That's facts.
That's crazy. I'm not prepared for this at all.
You are. You're doing such a good job.
I'm trying to think. What is my answer for this? Shoot. I think I'm gonna do one that's the opposite of Kira's story. So I think I was talking to this guy, I guess, or whatever, and we were in this room with like some pool tables or whatever, and he was trying to teach me how to play pool because I never played pool before. I didn't know anything about it or whatever. So he was like, I'm gonna teach you how to play pool. And I was like, all right, cool. So it was me and him in there, and he was teaching me how to play. And then there was this other guy and this other girl, and they were playing or whatever. And I don't remember, because this was a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly how it went, but my man said something that was a little slick. And and not the guy I was with, but the other guy. He said something that, you know, let me clarify. The other guy said something that was a little slick. And I think I don't remember exactly what it was, but I don't remember if it was for us to move from one pool table to the other or what. But it was, to me, he was saying something a little slick. And bro didn't say nothing. He was just like, well, I'm gonna just move out. He just moved out the way. He didn't say nothing. So we both moved out the way. And I was like, oh, so you so you can't do nothing for me. Like, if I was ever like somewhere with you, I know I'm on my own. Like, I was like, oh nah, like
you gonna let that go.
Yeah, I was like,
wow, you really can't protect me. That's wild.
Yeah. Now the other dude was he was a kind of my man was musky. I think he might have played football or something. I don't know. But not the guy I was talking to, but the other guy. So I understand, but still, you can't just be letting people, So I was like, oh nah, this ain't it. So
if it would have happened, he just had to take that L.
Exactly.
At least he stood up for you.
yeah, but he didn't at all. And I was just like, okay, that's red flag number 27, because it was already red flags. And I was like, oh, there's another flag.
Add that to the pile.
Another flag. So yeah, that wasn't good. Oh, but I will say a good one though. I think the first time me and Stefan started dating, we were in college. And so he was like, oh, I'm gonna come up, we're gonna go to the movies or whatever. I'm gonna come up there to see you. And I was like, all right, cool. But in my mind, I'm like, he ain't about to do that. Who about to drive an hour to come pick me up or whatever? Because I ain't never seen a guy do that. And so when he actually showed up, I was like, oh, he's actually here. Yeah. Okay. Took me to the movies. Okay. Paid for everything. I was like, okay. Oh, this is for real. Okay. So I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, okay, you do all this and you want nothing from me. Okay, cool. We might be able to, cool. So that was probably memorable for me, because that was the very first time he actually took me somewhere. And he actually, picked me up and all the things and brought me back to campus alive and all intact and everything. So
yes.
Shout out to him. He a real one.
We love him. So tell him to keep up that. Like, tell him to keep being consistent like that.
Thank you. Yeah. He's been, he's been consistent to this day. So he's good. All right, y'all. The next one is a little less, soft. The next question I want to ask y'all is, do y'all feel like a lot of people these days are for the streets? These are like, do y'all think that? Why or why not? Because I hear that a lot.
You want to start from the bottom this time?
Yeah. Austin, you start first.
To answer that question, yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't say necessary for sure. I just really think a lot of people are inexperienced and they don't know. maybe from their upbringing, they haven't seen like something consistent and something that's like stable. So they're just like, well, this is what I want. It's all about me. And they're just like on that one track set, like, I'm going to get what I get no matter what, whatever you got going on. I don't care. It's just about me. That's what I think. A lot of people are just like self-centered and they don't really know like how to love or what love is or what to look for in when you're trying to find love. So that's what I really think.
No, for sure.
I like that answer.
I agree. Like 100. Well, hold on. This is like opposite. So I agree with him. Like that's very true. I don't particularly say people for the streets unless I'm joking. Then I'll be like, he's for the streets. But like I like his jokes. And I think that when I hear that phrase, it grinds me just a little because like I hear it from males who say that about women a lot of the time. And a lot of the time it's just because the woman isn't fitting into the box that they like a woman that they want to be with to fit into. But like since I don't put everybody in a box and I know that everybody's wants and needs are very different, I don't say that phrase, but I do agree with what Austin said. Like everybody now, or a lot of people now are very selfish. A lot of people now do only think about like what feels best for them. And I'm not even going to lie to you. When I first started dating, that was definitely me because I like knew what extreme unhappiness looked like. And when I got back into the dating field, anything that remotely looked like that unhappiness, I'm like, no. But I had to like evaluate myself. I'm like, everybody is human. And like, just because someone makes a mistake in an aspect that's not cheating, but like, just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that like, oh, well, you're not a good person or that you don't deserve that grace. But that grace aspect is something that our generation doesn't do very much of. And that's the muscle that I had to work on within myself too, because now I'm like, okay, does this thing make him a bad person or does it just make him human? And we miss that. We miss that mark in this generation a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I agree. I like it.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I'm kind of on the same page with y'all also. But for me, I'm going to play like devil's advocate. So I also will say, I don't really say people are for the streets, but I don't think a lot of people are, at least our age, a lot of people in our age are looking for long-lasting relationship. Like from what I see in my world with our age, is like they said, they're looking out for themselves. And for me, I kind of have to guard myself because I am I'm a giving person. Like if you know me with my family, my friends, I try to make sure I'm there for them whenever I can be. If I can't be, it is what it is. But whenever I can be, I try to make sure I'm there for them. So you have to be a little guarded in this era because people will take advantage of you. So I've heard it, and I've seen it on both. Yeah, I've seen it on both sides. It's not women, it's not men, it's both of them. It's not one or the other. So I mean, yeah, in this era, you have to look out for yourself. But until we start being like, okay, what can I do to make sure this other person is happy in a relationship? I feel like, yeah, everybody is for the streets. It's for the streets. They're for the streets because it's like, okay, if I can't get this, this one person is giving me A, B, C, and then he's not or she's not giving D, then they're like,
I'm back to the streets.
This other person
out you go.
This other person can give me the rest of the letters. If he only giving me this, I can get the rest from this person. So then, you know what I'm saying? You're not really taking what the first person is giving. You're taking it for granted actually. Because no one, like you said, Kira, no one is perfect. Yeah. So you're not going to have that perfect person to be like, I can give you everything in the world in that aspect. So yeah, if you asking me, I would say people are for the streets, but I'm not. I'm trying to chill.
I think that comes with maturity, though, to be able to realize nobody is perfect. Not only does this person not do everything for me, but I can't. There's no way for me to do everything for that person either. So, yeah, I think that's a little bit of grown man, grown woman stuff. But everybody ain't ready for that.
Everybody ain't on that, so you gotta take what you can and keep it moving.
Yeah,
and also like to piggyback off of that too. Like I do understand. Like I think that our generation does need to find more grace because that was a muscle that I had to work on. Like I'm gonna call myself out, but also like I think that this generation saw our grandparents' generation and our mom's generation, and they had a little too much grace, where Papa had a side family.
He was out in the street.
Cool. And now, granted, the economic aspect was very different back then, so women could not. And well, my mom's generation, but back in grandma's generation, they couldn't really live on their own with children, so that wouldn't have been feasible for them, so they had to have that grace aspect. And then flip to now where we are independent, we're financially stable without men. And same with men, with women. Men are like coming into a space where they can do things that women were known to do. It's just, I guess, we are looking for that perfect person because we don't need certain aspects in each other. Men don't really need women for domestic things because they can do those things for themselves, and we don't really need men for money because we can provide that for ourselves. And I don't know. I think that it just comes down to finding that happy medium. We had a generation that went hard for just like, my man is my man, will stay my man forever. And this generation is like, one mistake and you're done.
You gone.
Like,
yep.
Yeah. So I think finding that happy medium and finding just ways to value each other's roles, even if that doesn't look like typical roles. Because I believe in gender roles. I want to be like the embodiment of like a woman in a relationship, but that's not every woman. That's not what every man wants either. So like I don't know, like I finding those ways to appreciate each other and finding that happy medium, like between grace and I deserve better than this. But that's a hard thing to look at too.
For sure. Absolutely. That's an amazing answer.
Yeah, like you say, I hear a lot of men say that women are for the streets. Men been for the streets. I ain't gonna lie. Men been
facts. Back in grandpa's days, like they've been for the streets.
Men have been
they was out here.
Decades.
They still out here.
Yeah, that's true. They are still out here.
The streets are new for us. We're just discovering the streets.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is wild. I think what do I think? I think I agree with I think I agree with y'all, and there's a lot of people who are there are more people a lot of these days it feels like they're more for themselves, I guess, than the streets. People think a lot about themselves and not about how this might affect the other person that they might be interacting with or whatever. And also I think sometimes people leave out hey, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to other people. So just so you know, this is not what you think, whatever the case may be. So I think people could just be honest. You can be honest. That would help a lot. That's not going to erase everything. Because sometimes you be honest with people. Well, I never did this, but some people would be honest with people and be like, hey, you just for this category, you not for that. But like, I think especially women might be like, but he treats me like this. So and this is like, but what did he say to you though? He said he was for this, not for this. And so I'm like, ooh, that's rough. But at least you knew from the jump, like, what you do afterwards, that's up to you. But yeah, I think. And I also think like people who are like very giving, like you, Isaac, you got to be careful because people will try to
abuse you.
Or sometimes they might not necessarily do it intentionally and be like, I'm going to use him. But that's just kind of like how they are. Or they might be used to other people being like that, being just like them. They're like, okay, well, everybody is for the streets. So I'm going to be for the streets too. Like that's what people assume. Because I'll like see these these YouTube shorts everywhere of it'd be like the red pill type people on these podcasts, and they'll it's crazy. I didn't know. I knew some men was out here wild, but I didn't know women was doing the same thing. I was like, yo, y'all just I never knew this is real. Like, this is people out here doing. It's kind of crazy. And I also think that the all the access to the dating apps and stuff like that makes that easier too. Because if kind of like how Yara was saying, if this person doesn't fulfill, they do A, B, and C for me, but they can't do what's after C, D, E, and F.
It sounded weird saying it. That's why I stopped. I was like, that sounds a little weird. That sounded a little weird, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah,
it's all right. If they'll have D, E, and F, I'm gonna go on this. I'm gonna go on Tinder, Bumble, the Facebook app. I got access. I can talk to somebody in Texas, in New York, or whatever. So I don't know. I think people just got a lot of options.
Yeah.
It ain't like Papa was making a family with homegirl down the street anymore. It's homegirl in New York that he fly up there once every few months and hit up the girl in New York or whatever. So that's what I think. But who am I? I don't know.
No, for sure. That's facts. That's facts. Yeah, it's different. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the way technology has changed things in the dating era, like it's it's totally different now. Because like you said, instead of someone going out and I'm not gonna say intentionally, but meeting someone and cheating that way, now you can just hop on your phone, hop on your computer, you like, dang, she like that, and type away, and you good. You good to go. You can type away. If she was fine, it's a vibe. Now it's like, so it's different nowadays. So I feel like it's easier access. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
So so you just got to be careful. But go ahead. What were you saying?
But is it easier access, or is it people lacking character and integrity? Because I am on all these dating apps, and I'm not exclusive with anybody. So to be fair, I can talk to as many people as I want to, because I'm not in a relationship. But also, I am very forthcoming with that too, because I'm like, we are not together. We are not exclusive, but when we are exclusive, obviously all those other people will definitely go away. But then with people who are in relationships, and then they decide who agreed to exclusivity, and then they're like, oh, my phone is two inches away from me, and I'm gonna go on Bumble and all this kind of other stuff. That makes no sense to me, because that has nothing to do with the app, because the app didn't make them bad. That person is just bad. That's just a bad person, or a person. Let me back up. I'm not gonna call that person bad. That's a person who's wanting to make bad choices. So that's a character flaw, and that doesn't have anything to do with Bumble. That's just them. That's a them thing.
True. I think it's also good for people to know what their temptations are. Like, if you know you might be tempted by the Bumble, Tinder, the Facebook, whatever. What's it called? What's the Facebook app, dating app called?
Facebook dating, I think. Yeah,
it's just called Facebook dating.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you for real. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just like a heart. Like, I don't want to show people's information, but it's just a heart at the bottom of the screen that says dating. Yeah.
Okay. Well, dang, I forgot what I was. Oh, right. The temptation part. I think people need to know where their boundaries are, because I think whether it's like dating or whatever other area, we are all tempted by something. So I think if you need to kind of be like, oh, I need to stay away from that. I need to get rid of this app, especially since now, because I think it might be hard for some people to go from like being able to talk to 10 people to now I'm just on one person. That might be a hard switch for some people. I don't know. So I think if you know you got a problem, go ahead and just kind of cut that off. I think cut the apps off or whatever, so that way you have more mental capacity to focus on one person. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, for facts. And like finding the root of that too, because like
for sure,
I don't know, like some temptations are gonna be around, and
mm-hmm.
like when they're in the relationships, they can't like excuse it by saying, "Oh, this is a struggle area for me." Like
Mm-hmm.
these women, oh, that's a but
Yeah,
like you have to find the root of it too. Like, why am I not satisfied with this woman? Is it that I'm not really compatible with her in all these ways, or is it that like I have some deeper rooted things that I need extra attention? Like I need to find like that root. But like also this is just because I had to do a lot of work, guys. Like y'all.
Yeah, for sure. You're not the only one, for sure.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's another thing that the grace we're going all deep into all the things, but but I think that goes another thing with you talking about giving people grace, and I think that ties directly into you talking about how if you're not satisfied with that person, that person isn't gonna satisfy every single thing.
Absolutely.
So you need to get some grace and figure out what is it about you that thinks this one person is supposed to satisfy everything, and also know that you don't need to go to a whole nother female or male or whatever to get whatever. You need to figure that, do some deep diving or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Kara said, you need to find that in yourself. So
Yeah.
you gotta know how to satisfy yourself, just how you can satisfy someone else. So if you can't do that first, you ain't gonna be able to do it anyway. So
Yeah.
that's fact.
Yeah. Or if that's what you want, then you need to, let it be known you in these streets, and that's just what it is. I mean, if that's what you're gonna be on, then you need to let folks know. So we ain't out here thinking you're loyal and you're not, So that's what I'm thinking.
For sure.
Well, all right, y'all ready for the next thing?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so how do y'all feel? Well, first of all, do y'all know anything about red pill? Have y'all heard of it?
I looked it up.
You looked it up? Y'all ever heard of Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, all of them? What do y'all think about it? We're gonna start with Kira first this time.
On the spot.
And then we're gonna get Kira, Austin, and then Isaac.
All right.
Okay. So the only person that I really knew was Kevin Samuels.
Oh, he was everywhere.
And like I couldn't stand him. Like he grinded my gears like in ways that I can't even sit with. But it was mostly because I didn't like his, I don't know, it was almost mean the way he spoke to women. And I hear a lot of men say like, oh, he was for the betterment of the Black community. He was trying to like better these Black women and everything. But you can better someone without like saying things that tear them down. You can better someone without saying things like, oh, so you want this and you're 382 pounds at 5'2", you're never going to get that. Like, that is crazy, and that's crazy mean. You can't, I don't like how mean he was. And I mean, I don't rejoice at like him being dead or anything. Like it kind of just is what it is. Like, but
people was wild for that.
Yeah, it was wild. He was very wild.
No, I'm talking about people. I thought it was wild for people to be rejoicing that he died.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
wild.
people are definitely wild. Yeah, like you can't rejoice over that. Like I think that at the end of it, I'm not God, so I can't even say, oh, he got what he deserved, because who am I? But like I don't love how mean he was. And then with people like Andrew Tate, because I did look him up and I looked at some of his videos, like I think the same thing, their aggression, like, and I always think about like this Bible verse, a gentle word turns away wrath. And like they don't use those gentle words. And granted, some things can be said gently, but like they say everything with just this aggression, and it almost comes off as disrespectful, so nobody can receive what they're saying. So even if I do agree, like Andrew Tate, he was saying something about the feminine and the masculine and how inherently different they are. And they are very, very different. But the way he was making his point was awful. I'm like, you could have said that a whole lot nicer, to where this woman could have actually listened to you and heard you, and not with hurt ears and offensive ears. She could have heard you, just respected what you said, and maybe not agreed, but just respected what you said. But I don't love the way they come across. Like, I don't disagree with everything they say, but I don't love the way they come across.
All right. With Austin, what you got?
For me, with all this red pill, all that, that's just I'm at a headspace where I'm not so concerned what you say because it doesn't pertain. It's not as it doesn't pertain to me. It's just like I'm not entertained by that. Therefore, I'm not listening to that because I don't see what's the point of in general. You shouldn't be degrading anybody or tell them, hey, you don't deserve that because you're this or you're this way. That's why you can't get that. You'll never get that because of that. What as humans, like, how are we going to progress in our human natural life with us just like being crabs and just pulling each other down and degrading everybody? I just feel like you can't do that. You can't get nowhere, which is why, in my opinion, we aren't progressing where we should be, or we're not at stable like ground in place for anybody. I don't know. It's just that reputation. It's just like it's irrelevant to me because I'm not into that. I'm not in a headspace where that's like on my priority. I'm watching that, or like if I see a video of Kevin Samuels or Andrew Tate, I'm just like, bye, click, delete. Like, what's the point? Like, who cares? Like, why? What? Nothing you say is gonna better me, in my opinion. Like it just, that stuff just, it's not affecting me. I don't know. I'm just not.
Oh dang, we differ because I be like, oh, what they say. Like, they said what?
Let me see.
I'll be like, dang, that's crazy. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all I'm saying. Is like it's irrelevant to me. I don't care for that stuff. I'm not into that type of environment. I'm not one for pulling people down. So if I see something like that, it kind of like disheartens me and it hurts me because it's like that's not who I am as a person. So therefore, I don't want to see that be spread out towards the world. Because we're already. I feel like we're already in like a not so good place. Why add to it? Why add fuel to the flame? That's my opinion.
For sure.
All right, Big Dog, what you got?
Yeah, man. Hey, man. To be honest, I looked it up. I looked into the people. It look like they don't like women. I ain't just gonna it look like they don't like women. And like Austin said, I'm not really into it. That's not my world. I'm looking it up and seeing their views. They want to fit people in a certain box. They want people to act a certain way, and you can't do that, especially not in today's day and age. When everyone, you do what you want to do. Why is it bothering you? If you want a person a certain way, go find that person. If you can't find that person, then maybe that's a problem with you. That's how I feel about it. I don't really pay it attention. It's none of my business. I know Monty say you see it, you like, wait, hold on, let me check it out. But for me, I'm like, it is what it is. Just like Austin, I'm cool on it. You can find whoever you want, make them do what you want to do. But for the people in this world, it ain't about to happen. So that's how I feel on it.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't even know any of this stuff exists, but one day Stefan was like, hey, what you think about, I think it was Kevin Samuels. He was like, he used the word hypergamy. I'm like, what's that? Or whatever. But a lot of the women would call in his show because they wanted to date or whatever I think they called it high value man, but it was supposed to be a man that was in 6 figures and higher. And Kevin would just talk. I remember Kevin saying something like, "That's such a tiny percentage of the population," and he was just talking about how I think he was an image consultant or whatever. So he would tell the women these are the qualities that these guys are looking for, and he was just saying he would say it in some pretty hard. He was very blunt, but he would just be like, "Yo, like you don't qualify for what these guys are looking for." So I was like, dang, and then it was wild how some women would call on there and they would just think that they were just supposed to get a guy to take care of them, making 6 figures and above, but they had all this some of the women had like a lot of baggage and stuff. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't realize people really, especially women, I didn't realize women really thought like that. And it was just interesting to think that some women just thought that that all they had to do was just show up, and they like, I don't know, some of the women, it seemed like they just thought that there was nothing wrong with them. They thought that they're here and now you're just supposed to take care of me and stuff. And it was, I don't know, to me it made me think about, well, what like two people in a relationship, they're supposed to be able to come together and bring something to serve the other person. So he would ask them, what do you have to offer to this person? They'd be like, well, I'm here type thing. I am the table or whatever. He's like, well, what do you bring to the table for these guys? And they're like, well, I am the table, whatever else. And it just made me think, I was like, oh, it made me remember that guys aren't just looking for you to be a woman and that's all they want. Like, they are actually looking for things. These are things that they like or whatever. And women have things that they prefer, like, too. So I just thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, okay. Now, some of the stuff they said was wild. I'm like, I'm good on that. But some of the other stuff, although it was said in a harsh way, I think sometimes some things are good to be heard. Like, it's good to say these things very straightforward. Because sometimes people, if you're too nice, sometimes people don't hear you.
Yeah.
Because that's for me, like, that happens to me all the time. I'll say something, but I'll be like trying to tread lightly and people don't hear me until I get sick of it. I'm like,
put some bass in your voice.
You gotta show them big money.
You don't know me. I got to tell you. But I think and a lot of those women actually came on the show like they was kind of rude to him, and he like, hold up, this is my show, you don't qualify, I'm sorry. And it some of the stuff I was like, you was kind of blunt, but it kind of makes sense. I think there's like some truth into some of the stuff that they said. And also they were kind of wild at some stuff. And also women be wild, and also men be wild. And I was like, everybody is wild. Like, this is
the wild west.
It's wild. It's wild out here. It's crazy. But the other thing that I think is cool, though, the other positive thing I will say is that it's some of the stuff that they talk about kind of reminds you the value in traditional roles, I guess, the different roles of men and women. Because I think nowadays a lot of people, I be hitting this thing all the time. A lot of times people these days, they don't think, it seems like people don't value those roles anymore. They don't value men being able to protect women or stand up for them or, be a leader or whatever. And then it seems like women don't always value having kids and being nurturing and all those things. I don't know. Sometimes it don't seem like it to me. I don't know what do y'all think? Because that's what I see. What y'all think?
No, it's for sure. And that's one of the things that I was saying too. So I agree. Absolutely. We definitely need to find the things that we value individually and then find someone that aligns with those values. Well, the core ones, because we're not going to find someone that aligns with all of them. But like for me personally, I do want a man who is kind, who's loving, who is a man of faith, a Christian, and that is the driving force of his life. I want someone who's a protector and a provider. And then I think that a lot of men get scared, like, oh, she said provider. And I do mean that. I do stand behind that. But also for me in my life, like, do I need to depend on someone financially right now? I don't. But like it would be nice to have a man to add to that. It would be nice to have a man in this picture. And I need that. I want that like one day. But I think that I know that protector, provider, having that faith, those are 3 core things for me. So like, I wouldn't even look someone's way if they're like saying, oh, well, I'm a 50-50 type man. That's fine. And I respect that for you. I love you for that. I mean, there's nothing bad that I will say about that, because that's what you're looking for. It's just not what I'm looking for personally. And I just don't degrade anyone else for their wants or needs. You just have to find someone who fits those core values for you and honor those when you do find it.
Yeah, I just think I agree with that. And I think it's, at this point, I think it's too much push and pull. Like, where's the medium? Where's the middle? So like, Monty, we talked about this before, to where I feel like in a relationship.
What we talking about?
I'm about to tell you. So yeah, what I was saying was, I feel like in a relationship, it's always going to be someone who gives more than the other. I don't want to say it's a giver and a taker, but that's what it is. And eventually what you want is a medium, to where even if one person is giving 70% and the other person is giving 30, that 30 is helping that 70% person grow still. And from doing my research, and I haven't, like I said, I didn't really know much about it till you sent me the info, and I was like, oh, okay. So I looked it up, and I didn't watch many of the interviews, but I found like a forum, and some of the guys in there was, and some of the women too. Some of the women too. Some of the guys in there were like, like I said earlier, they want women to act a certain way and do things that, in this day and age, they ain't gonna take that, because they seen it from their mom, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncle, not uncles, but they seen it from the women in their past lives, and now they're looking at it like, why should I have to take that? Let me go get my own. And I agree with gender roles also. I feel like a man should be able to protect, should be able to provide, those of that nature, and I feel like a woman should be able to help around the house, do things like that. But I also feel like, okay, if you want to go out there and work, get your money too, sure. Am I paying most of the bills? Definitely, because that's just the type of man I am. But if you're able to help me, I'm all for it, because then we're both contributing and we're both advancing in life. And that's what I want out of a relationship. So when I saw the forum and I was looking, I was like, I just think it's that certain box of people. It's those people that you don't even want to be involved with. You want to leave those people aside. So
lead them to the streets.
Yeah. Throwing back.
What you think?
Huh?
Yeah. So, no, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said lead them to the streets.
Oh God. Right. So yeah, so them people, those women who called into his show, I feel like that's a certain amount of women, a certain number of women that in my dating life I don't look for. And if I find it and I see it at the beginning, and then it's deuces, I'm good.
Yeah.
Chris Brown on me. Chris Brown deuces. Like I ain't got no time for it. So that's why I say, for me, it's more of like a certain box of people that I'm cool on. I don't even worry about it. So I get both sides. I get it.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move to the next question, because we've been on here for a long periodically time. But back to what you were saying, Isaac. You said there's always gonna be one person that gives more and one that takes more. I think like, depending on the length of your relationship, especially once you, at least from what I hear, I ain't never been married, but once you get married, there's like different seasons where one person gives more and one person takes more, and then another season where that person has to give more and the other person has to take more. Like, for example, one person might be sick for a season, and the person is usually the person who has to who takes more, they have to give more to like even things out, and then vice versa or whatever. So I think it depends on the season or whatever. Now, if it's always that person is 30 and you 70, you might want to hit the that's your business, but you my dog, so we might have to
That's right. Yeah. And the roles swap, like you said, the roles do swap depending on the situation. So So the woman can have the money, the man may not have the money, but together, I just think you should be able to contribute enough to where each person is growing.
Yeah,
that's how.
For sure.
Like I say, as a man, I feel like you should handle most of the big things. You should handle the big bills, things of that nature. Make sure that's good. And then if she's able to help, and hopefully she is, then yeah, you both good. That's just how I feel about it.
That's what's up, y'all. I like it.